The best way we've found for monthly qualifications, for court documentation and liability purposes, as well as for the sniper, just to get your training in to be a better sniper as far as your shooting skills go, is to set up a target, your standard silhouette target, do a cold shot on one of the 8.5 by 11 targets. You can use whatever your department uses, but we found it the easiest just to use a 5-inch disc. Do a cold shot, do a 5-round group. Obviously your cold shot being the most important out of all your rounds you take, so you can plot that in your data book. Do a 5-round group to make sure that your rifle is doped in. And then we usually do 5 rounds prone, 5 rounds sitting, and then we'll do 5 rounds kneeling in the head and 5 rounds in the standing offhand position on center mass. We're going to take you through a series of steps, pre-shooting and shooting. First thing you want to do, and the most important thing, is consistency. Take your bore rod, and you want to your bore before you shoot, and that's always, you want to be consistent. So what you do is you take a dry patch, you run it through. That way you're going to get out any excesses oils that have built up when you kept your rifle in storage. You also want to make sure there's nothing obstructing your barrel prior to getting your first shot or your cold shot down range. You want to do it the same every time. That way you're consistent with your cold shot and you're able to plot it in your data book. Make sure you have a bore guide so you're not damaging the inside of your the internal parts of your rifle. You're just going to run a dry patch through, and then make sure you police up your patch, and you're ready to take your first cold shot down range. This next information is only for a static range. When you're on the line with several other shooters, this is not for any kind of application used in a call out or for a military sniper or any kind of sniper on an actual live fire incident. For your static range, what you want to do, if you've got some vegetation in front of you, the best way to take care of that is, of course, just before the line goes hot, what you want to do is, the simplest way is just get down in front of your rifle and roll all the natural vegetation. So now you've cleared a pretty good path, shooting path between your rifle and the target. And again, this is only for a range that's cold and controlled. This isn't for any kind of an operation, obviously, because you're not going to leave a signature. Hearing protection is vital on any kind of rifle or pistol range. The least form of protection you can use is the foam ears. They come in various types of shapes and sizes and colors. This will provide protection, but you got to understand that after years and years of being on a range, just wearing these, it will have effect on your hearing. The best thing to do is to put on a pair of foam ears and then put on the heavy ear muffs that go over. The only drawback to that is when you're on your rifle, the ear muffs are going to provide you with a different stock weld than you're going to have in an actual call out if you wear those in a call out. Unless that's part of your gear, if you have a radio system through your team that calls for you to wear those, then you want to shoot with those every time, so at least you're consistent with it. If not, just go with the foamy ears, but understand that this is not the best protection you can have. There are molded types that you can get. They're a little more expensive. They're usually about $30 or more, and those provide a lot more protection. But the absolute best way is to go with the foamy ears, as well as putting on the ear muffs over for maximum ear protection. Moving into the sling or unsupported portion of shooting, we'll do the soft prone, the sitting, the kneeling, and the standing. An important thing to have is a good sling. Now, a lot of people don't call this a good sling. This is one I've been using for about 10 years, and it works well for me. again, consistency. If you have something that works well for you, use it. There's different types of slings on the market. There's some high-speed leather slings that are a lot wider, more comfortable. But again, this is what works for me, and it's the basics we're going to be talking about here. And the basics is your sling. There's some rifles that you can put a railing in here that has an adjustable front sling attachment. This one doesn't. What I'm going to do is just going to hook your sling up, and you'll get into the soft prone position. I'll show you how that's done. The type of sling I'm using here, which is standard for Marine Corps known distance range, you know, the front part, or the front hook that's going to hook up to the front swivel of the rifle. Second part, what you're going to do is it's going to loop through and look just like this. You want to take the sling and you're going to turn it half a turn outboard. And that half a turn outboard from this connection to the rifle, and you're going to slip it over your arm. What you want to have on as well is either a good shooting jacket, or in my case this is a Marine Corps shooting jacket that's been modified. I've just gone and gotten some wetsuit material and stitched it on myself, and that just adds extra protection. Especially I like a real tight sling. When you cinch the sling down, you don't want to be cutting off any of the arteries that run through the lower portion of your arm. Marine Corps put a pad in there, but again, what I've done is I've put some extra out here. This also helps for it's kind of a modified elbow pad. If you want a good tight sling, you want the sling to be back behind you, so that as it cinches into the rifle, it doesn't come up front here. You want the sling right about here, or even a little further behind. That's going to hook into the front part of the rifle, and it's going to sit up on top like this to bring the rifle into your shoulder. Okay, you take your front clasp, you're going to hook it into the front part of your rifle, the front swivel of your rifle, and you're going to be tightening this to whatever arm length or whatever's comfortable for you. You want a tight sling, but you don't want to suffer from what's known as sling palsy, where you've cut off the artery to your arm and your fingers go numb. A little numbness is good. That shows that you got a tight sling and it's tight in your shoulder, but you don't want to be losing any fingers if you're going to be in a certain position for a prolonged period of time. There's several different variations of the sitting position. I'm going to show you a couple of them now. The most important thing for sitting, though, is you want bone on bone. You don't want to be using any muscle in the sling positions, because when the muscles start to get tired, they shake, and that's going to affect your rounds down range. So it's bone on bone, elbow bone and knee bone. Some of the positions are, if you don't feel comfortable, you can't cross your legs, is to have the opened up position like this. It's the least stable of the sitting positions, but you still get the bone on bone, and you're able to put in your qualification for sitting. Okay, the next position is probably one of the most standard, is just the Indian style cross leg. What I do is I'll throw a couple of sandbags in here because of some past knee injuries. I kind of modify this where I'll cramp some sandbags in here. It keeps my legs up a little higher, or my leg up a little higher. And then I just go back into. The nice thing about this position is it keeps you a little lower to the ground, a little more stable, and subsequently keeps the rifle more stable, which will end up, your final result will be a better group down range. Bone on bone, again, is the most important thing. You're going to have your elbow bone on top of your knee bone or your cartilage. Same thing with your right elbow bone. You're going to tuck the rifle in. And now you're in your good sitting position. Some important things to consider in the shooting position and in all positions. You'll notice that as I'm shooting here, I've got a loaded weapon. My bolt is up, safety is off. For me, this is the type of safety I use, and I learned that from the Marines, that if you keep the bolt up, there's no way this trigger is going to go off. And I'd rather trust the bolt being up versus a 22-cent piece of metal in here for the safety. So when I got my rifle, I put it on fire and I leave it on fire. That way I never have to be concerned about in a shooting position or in a high stress situation where I might need to take a shot that I got to worry about that I put the safety on. Plus, with the bolt down and the safety on, I don't have to worry about if the rifle gets jolted. Again, I'm looking at 22 cents of metal in here versus having a bolt up, which there's no way it's going to go off. You need to obviously adhere to whatever SOP is for your department or agency or unit, as well as whatever range you're on. Some ranges say no to this, but again, this is kind of a standard SOP that I use, and it's simple, it's duplicatable, and of course it's effective. So you'll see on all the positions here when I'm on the range, you bolt up, that means it's safe. Weapon's always pointed down range, so I don't have to worry about that. No one is down range of the weapon, so I don't have to be concerned about that. For the soft prone position, you're going to get a tight sling in here. You're going to cram the webbing of your hand all the way forward into so it's pinched up against the front swing swivel on the front of the rifle, and you just want a tight, good sling. If you need to, you can take your hand out and you want to tighten this up a bit, which again, as I mentioned before, I like a tight sling, so I'll tighten that up a bit. And you're ready to shoot from the sitting position. One of the techniques I use that's very effective, and I use this in the soft prone in the sitting position, is I'll get into my position, cinch down my sling, and I'm good to go. I'm on target, and when I'm on target, I will close my eyes, and I'll close both eyes, and I'll take 2 deep breaths, like this. Okay, so I'm on target. Close your eyes. Take 2 deep breaths. Open your eyes up. If you're still right on target, that means your body and the rifle are aligned perfectly with the target. If the rifle has moved a bit, or if in your scope you're looking and it's moved over to the right or left a bit, you don't want to muscle the rifle, you want to shift your body. In this case, I'm just a bit to the left of the target, so I'm going to scooch my legs and my rear end a bit over to the right. So that's going to move the rifle. As opposed to me muscling the rifle, I'll let the body move the rifle. I'll get back in a position and do the same drill again, where you close your eyes, open your eyes back up, and you're right back on target. Okay, now I know that the rifle's pointing that direction, and I'm not muscling the rifle in that direction. The next of the offhand positions is going to be the kneeling position. What you can see is a modified kneeling position that works for me, and a lot of the same principles apply. Good tight sling, you want the rifle firmly in your shoulder, and you want a good sight picture, sight alignment. The close your eyes, breathe twice, and open your eyes applies here, but it doesn't apply as much because it's not as a stable position. There's several different types of kneeling position where you can fold your foot under and sit on it. But again, this type position applies to me. You need to work with what's good for you. The main thing is you need 3 points of contact with the ground. You need whatever knee you're leaning on or putting all your weight on. If you're shooting right-handed, that's going to be your right knee. The knee has to touch, part of the foot has to touch, the rear end cannot touch the ground, and then the other point would be kind of a tripod formation with your left foot on the ground. So again, you want to got to get that good tight sling. Make sure it's tight and it pulls the rifle into your shoulder. Put the rifle on the shoulder. Again, you'll see that the bolt is up. Now I lean forward and I get myself in a stable kneeling position like this. You get on target and close your eyes and take 2 deep breaths. When you open your eyes, if you're still on target, that means your body's aligned to the target, as is the rifle, as opposed to you muscling it left or right, which will affect your round. So if you're not right on target, take the rifle out and move a bit. Move your foot, move your knee, move whatever you need to do, but shift your body as opposed to shifting the rifle. Okay, the last of the offhand positions is the offhand or standing positions, the least stable of all the positions. And the reason I'm walking into the screen here is because you want to walk and stop just like you're normally standing. When you stop and your legs, wherever they finish up or they end up, is where you're most comfortable. So that's where you want your legs are. You want to be as comfortable as possible in this position because, again, it's the most unstable. When you stop, you want your feet just rested. Now I'm on a little uneven ground right here. But again, we're going to modify it for the situation. And I'm going to have my feet at a bit of an angle from where the target is. And I'll show you that here in a second when we're shooting why I'm doing that. One thing you've seen me do is as the spent shell exits the chamber, I'll catch it and I'll put it in my pocket, or I'll put it somewhere where it's readily accessible, or I stash it somewhere so I can take it out of there. One thing you don't want to do as a sniper is leave any kind of signature behind where you shot. Just get in a good habit of every time you pull your bolt to the rear, you can slide it back with your thumb, catch the round as it comes out, you put it in your pocket, you lock and load, and you're good to go.